voters of Aljunied, fellow Singaporeans. A few weeks ago, I was walking through Hougang Mall and greeting the shoppers and the salespeople. At the counter, hands with the lady. I could tell that she wanted to say something. So I paused and looked at her. She asked me, "You're Botiang. The cow is Singapore. Why I got the dark people away? What I'm here, the dark people. Ita, 政府就愛照顧人，因為我哋就是最競爭嘅新加坡，可能老人嘅壓力真正大。And then she started to sob. She was telling me the pressure felt by older workers because of foreign workers. How can we compete with them? I looked at her and I said, we will review our policies. And I will make sure that what you said, we will take up. Then yesterday, outside my party branch at Block 415 Hougang, I was there until 8 plus, then I walked out. There was an old man, Mr. Wong. He stood there. He said, "Can I speak to you?" I said, "Of course." Then he showed me his IC and his party membership card. He said he used to serve Yatiman Yusof and Mansur Sukaimi in Kembangan. I was from Kembangan before. And he poured his heart out. He said, "I'm so worried." He said, every time people come to see MPs for MPSs, so many cases can get rejected. They get angry with the government. Week by week, multiplied by 5, because we have 5 divisions in the GRC. Over many years, he said, you will have many people angry with the government. He said, "Don't laugh at me." I said, "No, I will not laugh at you. What you're saying is very serious. Please continue to speak." He said, "Reconsider some of the requests. Don't just brush them off." He said, "I've got my own problems, but I'm not here to talk about them. I'm here to talk about the PAP because I worry for the PAP." In these 9 days, the 5 candidates, as we go around, there has been an outpouring of emotion, pent-up emotion. So many people have cried talking to us. They cover many things: housing, foreign workers, transportation, cost of living, CPF, healthcare. These are the sorrows of a people, of individuals who are unable to catch up. And I think many of you know in this election, throughout Singapore, there is a cry from the heart, a cry that wants to be heard. Every time I'm approached by such an individual, psychologically I tell myself, it doesn't matter if I have to spend 20 minutes talking to that person. Because in talking to that person, I understand more deeply what are the concerns. The reason why the Workers' Party has been able to draw huge crowds to their rallies is because they harp on these concerns. And people go there, when they listen, they feel a certain emotion. But it is a negative emotion and a negative agenda. The Workers' Party has come here to Aljunied GRC. They have no agenda for Aljunied GRC. It's very strange. We asked Mr. Lau Tia Kiang and the others repeatedly, where are your plans for the voters? Because before the voters decide on 7th May, they must know the details of the two teams. This is called due diligence. They said, vote us in first, then we will tell you. Then we will have the information. But the information is available publicly. Finally, under pressure from many residents, last night they suddenly come out with a plan. But it is only the outline of a plan. And that plan means nothing. Some of the candidates, when they go on their walkabouts, they are very cheeky. When they were asked, where are your plans? They said, we will take the Aljunied PAP plan and we'll make it our own. They will use our Aljunied 10, our Kway Teow Hot and Nice plan and make it their own. This is, of course, a compliment to us. But it is an insult to the people living in Aljunied. Because they should not be playing with people's lives. We know their ambitions. From Aukang to Aljunied, beating the drum on national issues, do parliament, wrestle with the driver, push him out, and take over. That is what they want. Pritam Singh said, Sibyl Lim can be the Prime Minister. Lau Tia Kiang can also be Prime Minister, maybe President. You know, they have nothing against our team. Nothing against our team. They have nothing against what we have done because they know what we have done. And they dare not criticize us. They don't criticize me as Foreign Minister. Instead, they compliment me. It's very strange. They say George can be President. But we know the game they are playing. We know the game they are playing. It is quite cunning. They set up a website sponsored by members of the Workers' Party saying George Yeo for President. It is a joke, but I don't think it's funny because it is a way to distract people from the elections. I'm not going anywhere. I have served the people of Aljunied for 23 years. And over the years, there are bonds of friendship. When Kaki Bukit came under Aljunied, I went to the 538 market. And I met a lady at the flower shop. She remembered me. Then she said, I've grown old. So I told her, with a smile, I said, we grow old together. Over 23 years, I've gotten to know many people. I can't remember all their names. Usually I can remember their faces. And they remind me of the things we have done in the past. And it is these friendships, these relationships, which make it so fulfilling to be an MP in Aljunied GRC. there was a young man. He's autistic and was accused of molesting a girl. But he didn't know what he was doing. So the parents came to see me. They were very worried. So I took up the case. The charges were dropped. The parents loved him. Because he's autistic, he's very good in music. He plays the organ. When I visited him, he was so excited. He said, come. And he brought me to his bedroom. I took off my shoes, went to his bedroom, and he wanted me to hear what he has composed being played by him. After a few years, I met him just the other night at a girl time. He said, Minister Yeo, come, I want to play again for you. I want to play on a girl time, but they won't allow me. This is what we do as MPs in the grassroots. How can we just desert the people who've elected us, who have served, and just go next door and say, okay, I'll use these people now for other objectives? I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying in our Aljunied. The issue for the people of Aljunied is not the Workers' Party, which has limited capabilities. And I think people know, and they know, that in terms of looking after the people here, we have a track record, we have carried our promises, we have plans. There is a trust in what we say. And they know when we talk about Aljunied 10 that we will carry out those plans. And by the next election, we'll be judged by those plans. However, many people do want the Workers' Party to remain do want the Lau Tia Kiam to remain in Parliament. He knows this. And his strategy is to force a choice by coming here. And it's caused a lot of discomfort among many people. In Sabah this morning, there was a letter. Someone said, 学营学书我们都是历史的罪人. The letter writer said, whoever wins, whoever loses, we are sinners in history. This is a dilemma which Lau Tia Kiam has deliberately created for the people of Aljunied. And he does this by exploiting the resentment of the people. And because of this, I'm not allowed to criticize the Workers' Party. I find it a little strange. One day my son came back from camp, he's in NS, and he said, Daddy, don't criticize the Workers' Party. I said, how can I not criticize the Workers' Party? They are my opponents. They said, if you criticize the Workers' Party, people will be angry with you. I pondered, what is the meaning of this? No, it is not the Workers' Party. The Workers' Party is merely being used as a loudspeaker for many Singaporeans who feel pain, who think that the government is high-handed and arrogant, and they want to speak up. And the Workers' Party is there, they're using it as the Workers' Party. That is the real reason. And that is why I say the real issue is not the Workers' Party, but how we address the feelings, the heartfelt feelings of many people in Singapore, which in this election have all come out, and which all of us in our own way have heard. As as a result of this, in Aljunied, the election campaign is being fought on two levels. At the local level, frankly, there's no contest. In terms of looking after you, your daily needs, your environment, safety, predictability, a good living environment, even the Workers' Party will concede that we will do better. When Lau Chia Kiam was asked, he said, Hougang is not a slum. Well, we have much higher standards than that. But there is another level at which the campaign is being fought. And that is this resentment against the government. And I want to tell the people of Aljunied this, that my teammates and I will be your voice in government. They know we will listen. Listen hard. And feed up and help shape policies in parliament, in government, and in the cabinet. But we must not make light of the feelings. The feelings are still there, and they are raw. Old people, married people, but especially young people. You know, when people are angry, sometimes they get very emotional. You lose your temper. We lose our temper. We say things, we do things which we regret later. But when we are angry and someone tries to reason with us, we reject it. So when MM said, you will have to repent, this created greater anger, greater resentment in many people. Last night, when I was having my kway chap supper at Block 401, opposite Punggol Park, I went around shaking hands. And one Chinese man in his 40s, he said, I'm voting for the Workers' Party because of what MM Lee said. I looked at him with a certain sadness and I said, I respect your feeling. We must recognize that there is widespread unhappiness about the government. It is not only about specific policies, it is more than that. And we must not allow the emotions to be all bottled up. Some of it is because of globalization and technology. There is so much change in the world. Many of us feel that the world is turning too fast. And we want the world to slow down because we can't catch up. You know, technology, iPhone, iPad, this, that. Sometimes you feel the older we are, the more obsolete we become. And this has created a lot of a sense of dislocation and stress. Older people who feel that, well, in the past, the older you are, the more you know, the more wisdom you have, the more you're respected. Many now feel lonely. They feel that their children are overseas, doing this and that, sometimes don't have time for them. And then when they face more pressure from the government, it all comes out. And Singaporeans work very hard. Long hours. When I go door-to-door visiting from 7 to 9 p.m., more than half of the households are empty. Young couples, they want housing, they want to get married and form a family. They have issues. I'm not saying that the government has necessarily done wrong, but we must exercise flexibility because no two cases are the same. And we are flesh and blood. We are not robots. We are not things. and we have to be treated as human beings. This is very important. And let me talk about the feelings of young people. And I see many of my young friends in the audience today. In the last few years, they have taught me many things. They've helped teach me how to blog, get onto Facebook, create a second Facebook account, how to communicate, how not to communicate, how to speak, how to listen. And I'm very grateful to them. And because of them, I'm running this campaign in a very different way from all my previous campaigns. But this is just a group who are helping me. There are other groups who I'm not in touch with, who also feel the same way, all over Singapore, and some outside Singapore. When I was at SMU, in a dialogue session, one girl asked me a question without emotion. She said, "We feel helpless." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "We feel helpless. You decide on a casino, you build a casino." And she talked about other things. I explained to her that we spent a year debating the casino. But somehow, she did not feel engaged. And many people feel that way. 2 days ago, I was very busy. It was a long day. My young friend said, "Do a video recording and talk to them." So I went down to Queen Street, did a recording, used a teleprompter. It did not come out right because I was reading. And my eyes showed that I was reading. So the producer said, "Speak from your heart." And after a few takes, I said, "I've got to rush for a Ke Thai. This should be good enough." I looked at it, I said, "I will look a bit tired. Never mind, just put it out." It went viral. To my shock, it went viral. I felt a little sad that it went viral. Because, for it to go viral was, of course, very good for me politically. But I felt sad about it going viral because it was a simple message, 2 minutes. And many people felt moved. If they could be moved by such a short clip, it shows that they crave communication. And that they feel that somehow we are talking to them and not talking, we are talking at them and not talking to them. And unless we engage young people and allow them to teach us, I don't think we can communicate with them. And once there's communication, the influence becomes two-way. They've influenced me, and I think I've influenced those who have helped me too. And the result is, they are better, and I'm better. And this is what our country should be. Because of globalization and technology, all structures, all hierarchies, all relationships have broken down. And new patterns, still unclear, are forming. In families, in school, in churches and temples and mosques, in workplaces, and NGOs. And all kinds of groups are mushrooming, which are viable because they can link up with people in other countries. I get lobbied by the Cat Welfare Association, by the Dogs for Blind People Association, by those who fly kites, by those who race quarter-scale cars, by many others. In our system, unless it comes under People's Association, getting approvals is often not easy. This problem, which causes a lot of pent-up frustration, I think it's a deep problem, not a simple problem. And it's not a problem just of the government, because at the core of the government is the PAP. This problem is also in the PAP. Because, like everybody else in the world, we have to adjust to the new technology, to the new social forces at work, which are breaking up people into small groups and find a way to create a new unity. And we can only create a new unity if we talk. If we talk to one another. If we listen. If we listen to one another. Which means respect. Which means trust. Respect and trust take a long time to build up. They can be easily destroyed. But it is something that we have to do. And something which we do well will create a new unity similar to the unity that we had, which created Singapore, which an earlier generation had to create Singapore, with Lee Kuan Yew. In your hearts, you know that Singapore needs the PAP. That without the PAP, there is no Singapore. But we need a transformed PAP. It doesn't mean that all our problems will be solved. But it means that there will be better communication and a greater feeling for people. Years ago, when I first became an MP, when I conducted an MPS, I remember what the doctor told me. That you can rarely cure a serious illness. You can only sometimes cure a serious illness. You can often ameliorate, which means make it less painful. And he said, you can always comfort. I took that to heart. That at MPSs, as MPs, this must be our approach. We cannot solve all problems. Sometimes we can make it easier for people by giving them vouchers, by financial help, doing something on the side for them. But we can always comfort. And we comfort by a listening ear. Let people complete their sentences before interrupting them. That is very important. Because it is only when they feel they have communicated that they are prepared to receive. And that's why they attend Workers' Party rallies. Because they want the loudspeaker to blare so loud that we have to hear it. And still they're not so sure. What we need is to hear these things ourselves. In the last 9 days, the 5 of us candidates, we have had intense discussion. This has been the most intense election campaign that I've ever had. It is my 6th. And we talked about many things. We talked about the things that are right. We talked about the things that are wrong. We talked about the things that we have to do after the elections. And we've all come to the conclusion that the PAP itself must be transformed. But before I made this speech, as I was drafting this speech, I spoke to Prime Minister because I knew he was coming to support us this evening. I said, PM, this is what I'm going to say. PM said, George, you and your teammates say what is in your hearts. And reflect what is in the hearts of ordinary people. He said he will listen. He will listen hard. This is what we must do. But I need your help. I need your help because for us to have a voice in parliament, in government, in the PAP, we need a strong mandate. The stronger the better. The stronger the mandate, the more influence we will be able to wield. You know, we live in an exciting part of the world. The American economy is not very good. The European economies are in trouble, deep problems. Young Americans, young Europeans, they are coming here, looking for opportunities. China, changing beyond belief. When I first went to my ancestral town in Angpo, near Teochew, where my mother came from, it was such a poor place. I had to learn how to draw water from a well and how to do my business outdoors. In the evening at 8 p.m., the light became dim. There were no refrigerators. And so what leftover food they had, they boiled to kill the germs to keep till tomorrow. Today, when I visit my cousins, because the old ones have passed away, they drive me around their BMWs, they treat me to banquets, they show me their bungalow houses. And this is all over China. And on the other side, there's India. Also growing in a different way, but growing. I've been to many parts of India. You know I've been involved in a Nalanda project. And I thank Mr. Lee Bok Guan for coming here this evening to show us support. I'm very grateful to him. Even a poor state like Bihar is making growth of over 10% a year. There's Vietnam, there's Indonesia. The whole region around us, 2 billion people, 3 billion people, half the world's population is on the move. And we are right in the middle. How can our future not be bright? If we are united, and we have very good relations with all our major trading partners, and I was involved in forging those relations as trade minister and as foreign minister, there are so many things that we can do, so many opportunities for Singaporeans. The sky's the limit, the world's our oyster, provided we are united. If we are divided, there'll be problems. Big problems. This destiny, our destiny in this century, is in our own hands. And this election in Aljunied is important not only for the people who live here, but for the whole of Singapore. Give us a strong mandate. We will work for a government and the PAP that will be able to create a new unity in Singapore, understand and overcome many of the frustrations that are now prevalent. We may not be able to solve all of them, but we can ameliorate some of them, and we can be comforting to everybody. If we do that, it will be a different Singapore. Remember, the Aljunied election is of decisive importance. On nomination day, I describe it as a 决战, a decisive battle. It is a decisive battle. It was a decisive battle deliberately provoked by Mr. Lau Tia Kiang. We have to win it. And we have to win it decisively. And we must fight for the transformation of the PAP and achieve this new unity. This is really a struggle for the soul of Singapore. A struggle for the soul of Singapore. And in this struggle, we are all on the same side. All political parties are on the same side. All of us are on the same side. Let us work together. And we have to work together. And renew hope in the Singapore we love. Live or die, we who are here will work with you to make it happen. Thank you. Thank you.